Happy Hump Day, and welcome to the PHNX Sun Devils show. I'm Anthony Totri. This guy right here, that's Erik Ruby. This guy right over here, that's Big Pokey, Shane Dieffenbach. Do everybody here a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you're listening on audio for the first time, go ahead, drop a 5-star review. The trio is back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk all things college basketball. And because I know there's so many people that just didn't get enough of him while he was here, we've got a Ray Anderson topic that we're also going to get into a little bit later on in the show because he's still around, guys. He's still around.
Just like a cockroach.
You just can't get rid of him. No, it's tough. It's tough. Even when you get rid of him, you don't really get rid of them.
Like you think, oh, we're done. Then you forget about it. You go about your business. You're walking around. And then like 4 months later, you're walking around your place and you look down, you're on like, is that Ray Anderson?
Yeah. It's like you, instead of getting rid of the cockroach completely, you told the cockroach, you know what? We'll build you a little apartment over here. We're going to continue to feed you. We'll pay you.
We'll pay you so much money.
And the cockroach just continues to like wear your logos and show up at your house like all the time.
Concerning.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It is tough, but maybe not as tough as what Bobby Hurley is going to be tasked with this offseason in terms of retaining a lot of these Arizona State players. It is tough. Getting some guys from the transfer portal. And it didn't start off too hot, I would say, for Arizona State, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Let's start with the one from yesterday. Jamiya Neal entering the transfer portal was a staple at Arizona State for the last couple of seasons. And I think every single offseason, you're like, okay, this is the year. This is the year that he takes the next step. He becomes the premier guard that we think he is capable of with the talent he has. And it just never really came to fruition at Arizona State.
Yeah. This one's hard because, like, before he entered the portal, I kind of knew he was entering the portal. Like, we had heard a lot of things. Like, so we've already had time to cope a little bit. But if you're just taking this on face value, you're putting it in a vacuum. It sucks because he was one of the few guys that throughout the massive turnover in the last 3 years had stayed through it all. And as we said, like, he was getting some major minutes as a freshman, and you could see that raw talent from his Bambi days. And he still kind of plays a little bit like Bambi.
His
still
Bambi
hasn't
days.
Truly grown into his body, but like the dude is a awesome defender, a freak athlete, and on occasion could create his own shot. So it stinks. That being said, I also just don't think he really fit very well into this offense ever.
I agree.
This team needed shooters, and he wasn't a consistent knockdown shooter by any means.
Yeah.
And I know I said on occasion he could create his own shot, but he really couldn't. He wasn't a shot creating guard. So I still think this team is better with him.
Yeah.
He's just more of a support player than he is the star that ASU needed him to be. But any guy you're losing the transfer portal that got as many minutes as he did is a big impact, and it stinks.
And I think that's the big thing. Like you mentioned, he stuck through so much, and you also saw the growth with him. Like, the more minutes he got, the better he played. And was he perfect for this team? Not really, but also we've had plenty of conversations about sometimes it's up to the team to mold to the players and vice versa. And we talked about it yesterday, Totri, that if the situation is right, a player like Jamiya Neal could really help this team. Could really bring a lot. But to Shane's point, that never really came fully to fruition. But I mean, he averaged 2 points his first season, 4.9 his second season, then up to 11 points this past season. And that's the type of growth that you like to keep around and see, hey, what's going to happen in year number 4? But, so it definitely stings a little bit.
But last year felt like 2 seasons. That is fair. For Jamiya. Like, the first half, he was like, okay, he took a little bit of a leap, but not great. And then he had his coming out party in the tournament and in the late stages of or in the Pac-12 tournament and in the late stages of the season. And then obviously we know what he did in the NCAA tournament. So last year felt like a huge step mid-season. And this year was kind of, he built on it a little bit, but again, I just don't think this offense was built for him.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think for Jamiya, like it's ironic and it kind of fits that he was inconsistent throughout his entire time, I would say, at Arizona State. You mentioned last season, he really started to come on in the postseason. And then you look at this year, started off a little bit slow in conference play or in non-conference play, eventually started to heat up, find a little bit of a rhythm. And then obviously as conference play and these Pac-12 teams just started to absolutely dominate Arizona State. It wasn't just Jamiya, but nobody was really finding any sort of value offensively. And it does sting, I would say, more so that Jamiya Neal's last game in an Arizona State uniform is that Utah game where they got obliterated. Jamiya didn't score, 0 for 4 from the field, 5 boards, 2 assists. Like it stings because he is a talented player, but again, to both of your guys' points, he never really fit the system. Mm-hmm. And I think Bobby was almost asking more of him than he was capable of at any given point in time consistently.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was asking. I think Jamiya was asking too much of himself sometimes.
Yeah.
But he was also given the burden of having to score points like at a starting guard Division I level, which he's just not quite there yet. And I think he can be next year for sure, because look, he's a true junior, which is rare now.
Yeah.
Like no red shirts, no extra. Like he's a true junior who obviously we know his wingspan, we know how athletic he is.
That's what I think hurts the most.
Yeah, for sure, the potential, but it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
but the 3 years have shown growth. Like that's the thing is like maybe he's not going to be a perfect player, but it's not like it's been 3 years of just stagnation,
he's
right?
Great.
Like,
and to put on top of that, it's rare to find a guy like him. He's such a good dude who just wants to work. Like there was no bullshit with him. He, from what we've all known, he was really good in school as well. Like he was always a top academic performer in ASU athletics. So that's always rare. But as your favorite 5-head says in the chat, it's impossible to build a program when kids don't stay.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're looking at this and I wouldn't be surprised if Jamiya Neal is the same guy. Like this year, we're looking at 5 dudes in the tournament that used to be at ASU that are playing really well for their team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jamiya Neal's going to go out and average almost 17, 18 points per game. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the leap, because part of the reason why his stats jumped up is because if you just look at his total minutes played, like it's an incredible leap. It's over doubled. But he definitely seems like the type of guy that a year from now we're going to be keeping tabs on and be like, damn, Jamiya Neal's balling for so-and-so, and they're making a tournament bid or something like that. And he wasn't perfect, but who was perfect on this team? Right. And how many people can you look back and just and be like, yeah, they had a season like Jamiya had in this situation for this team this year.
My thing with Jamiya is he is so well suited for I think he would play great in the SEC, where there is just a role for him to just be a slasher and he's surrounded by 3-point shooters, because that is what Jamiya was a 20. Let's see, what's the 27% 3-point shooter?
Yeah,
this
it was
year.
not very good.
And he's never been over 30 in his career. The highest was last year, where he took a considerable amount less and he shot 29% from 3, which isn't good. And he was asked to shoot too many threes, and whether that be Bobby's offense, where it's just like, okay, action starting with 10 on the shot clock, Jamiya has the ball, he's past the arc, so he's gonna shoot, or a play is drawn up for him. He just wasn't built to be that guy. So I think he's going to be really well positioned. And next year, if you do see him averaging 18 and 7 a game at a smaller level SEC school, or even a non-Power 5 school, it's most likely going to be in that slasher role consistently.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I think, again, you look at the construction of Arizona State's roster at the start of the season, and I think Bobby got kind of a sense pretty early on in camp that Jamiya just wasn't ready to go out there and be the number 1 scorer. On top of the fact that, at the time they weren't going to have Adam Miller to start the season. They brought in Jose Perez, a guy that you knew could at least score. He didn't fit the offense. I think Ace fits the system a little bit more. I think if you're talking about Jamiya in a nutshell, like leaving, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss the inconsistency. I'm not going to miss the fact that, he wasn't really a spot-up 3-point shooter. But like you said, Shane, to have a guard at 6'6" that really he brings the intensity, he can crash the glass, one of the best rebounders, period, on Arizona State's roster, something that they struggled with mightily all year long, and they just tend to do because they're not very big. That in and of itself, I think, is going to hurt. But again, it's not just Jamiya Neal entering the transfer portal this morning. Freshman guard or was a freshman last season, Braelon Green, entered the transfer portal as well. Didn't see the court a whole lot this season. Did see it, I would say, significantly at the start, which Bobby does tend to do, messing with the rotations and the freshmen at the start of seasons. But Braelon Green, I know, Eric, we talked about it yesterday just in terms of it would help to be able to retain specifically some of these key young guys. And I think, again, to back-to-back days losing a guard isn't the greatest start to the offseason.
Well, especially it's like when you lose a guard that played so many minutes, and now you're looking at somebody who, if in a perfect world, would be able to fill some of those next year, even though this year, obviously, there wasn't a lot of burn for him. It's just, it's hard because the stuff like this adds up, right? Like, you say you won't really miss the inconsistency of Jamiya Neal. I understand that. Some people can look at Braelon Green and be like, you know what? He didn't play that much. He was a true freshman. Like, maybe we didn't see enough out of him. I won't miss him. Goodbye. But when you start losing all sorts of different types of players like that, you don't get that college basketball story of, hey, this guy last year was this. We worked with him. He got better, and now he's here.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you lose the guy who hasn't played, and then you lose the guy who has played, and yes, granted, it's only 2 players, and maybe it's not a knockout blow for a program, but when you're in the position that Arizona State is, like, that type of stuff adds up. And so it's disappointing, right? To me, it's disappointing. Am I like heartbroken? No, but it is disappointing.
Yeah. And this is kind of a sour attitude to have, but you do look at the era of the transfer portal and Arizona State's era of the transfer portal, and this is a good start for, like, I know you guys probably touched on this yesterday. You had your, sometimes most of the time, your best offensive option tweet a forks up the day the portal opened, which is a really good sign.
Great sign.
You have your leader of the team assumingly staying, and people this didn't happen immediately. Like, usually when the portal opens, it's like bang, 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 and your head's everywhere. You're like, what's going on? So right now, look, they have all of their roster spots filled right now. Like, the 2 players were too many. They have 13 of 13 scholarship spots filled right now because they have 4 incoming freshmen, 1 incoming JUCO guy, and what is that? And then 8 returning guys, assumingly
as of now.
As of now. And I'm sure more players will enter the portal. Like, it's
and they'll get some from the portal.
What happens, and they're going to have to rebuild through the portal. But like right now, it isn't like you're not in the worst spot ever. Going to Braelon Green, the things that I've heard is he's just testing waters.
Okay.
I think he probably will end up leaving because Totri and I were talking about this earlier. Like, it is rare that a guy
comes back.
Yeah, comes back after that. But I don't know. And again, it was 5 minutes a game. I was excited for him coming in because he was a shot creating guard. But we just didn't see him, even in the minutes that he did play, take that step. And obviously, a true freshman being a true freshman isn't something. It's not easy to score at the Division I level, but. I did hope for more from him coming in.
Yeah, and it's something you brought up, right? That yes, it hurts to lose a guy that you never really got to see, but even in the minutes that Braelon Green did play, just comparing him based off the position to a guy like Austin Nunez the year before, like Nunez did more with those minutes, and then you look at the season that he had at Ole Miss, like maybe in a perfect world, if you're an Arizona State fan, that's what you can latch onto of like, hey, maybe this just, again, wasn't the right fit. You never really know what he's going to do at the next program. But again, I think in terms of retaining players, ASU is obviously having an issue with it. But everybody in college basketball is kind of going through the exact same thing, unless you just have copious amounts of money. Now, in the Die Hard Discord earlier, Short Bus and Donald were kind of going back and forth, and Short Bus brought up only if Frankie Collins left. Frankie Collins is the only player that could hit the portal that would truly hurt. So I'm curious, Shane, I'll start with you on that. Outside of Frankie Collins, is there anybody else that you can point to on this roster that if they do hit the portal and they don't pull a Jamiya Neal in return, that you're going to be like, damn, that one really, really stings?
I mean, it's all circumstantial. Like, if Frankie Collins stays and literally the rest of the team leaves, no. Like, no. It all just depends on what the group of players you're bringing back is. Like, if you lose all of your bigs and you don't get any in the portal, no. Then you have 1 6'10" freshman coming in. That's it. That's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's 3-4 guys and Frankie is one of them, 100% that stings more than anything else. And then you're concerned. I've been saying over the last 2-3 weeks, like, you got to retain your top 2 guys at least. You have to retain Adam Miller and Frankie Collins at least,
which we fully expect to happen.
We do. And as I've said before, like, my backing for Bobby completely changes if you don't retain those two guys.
Yeah.
Like probably if you lose one of them, then I'm on the other side of it, because that is the biggest thing. That is what we need to know Bobby can do, is retain his talent.
Yeah. Especially guards.
Yeah.
Right? Like we know the history with Bobby Hurley. We know the history with Arizona State for that 2017, 2018 season where it was quote unquote guard you. Like you can lose bigs after a year of understanding that it may not be a fit. But for Bobby Hurley, to your point, if they do lose at any point one of their top two guards to the transfer portal, that immediately is a red flag. That immediately is an issue for guys that transferred already to this program. It would just hurt, especially going into the Big 12. Eric, for you, same question. Is there anybody not named Frankie Collins that you lose to the portal that you immediately are like, it might be time
The only answer is Adam Miller.
Yeah.
And there's no disrespect to anybody else, but those are the two. And Frankie is still clearly one of those two.
Yeah.
Like if Adam Miller does leave and you get some big time transfer, something like that, that's a lot more easily digestible than Frankie Collins left the program. Doesn't really matter what you replace. This is a guy that just set the single season steals record. Yeah. Like this is your guy, right? And if you lose your guy going into the Big 12, that's just a recipe for disaster. I think that if they do lose anybody and they lose a big like Sean Phillips Jr., like, they need to fill somebody who actually plays like they're 7 feet tall along with Frankie Collins. And there was a comment, I forget who had it, but I think it's up a little bit, Jacob, about ASU. Chris says that they're fine with, go down, there we go. Chris says they're fine with Jamiya leaving if it means they could build a team truly around Frankie. Needs some shooting around him if you want to fully unlock him, which is true. I think you also need a big man who's going to do a lot of the dirty work and set good screens and be able to get him, because we've seen Frankie expand his shot profile and everything like that as well. So if it's Adam, that's going to hurt. If it's Frankie, that's going to be devastating. Other than that, we'll be okay. It's not great, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think Adam Miller is the only, again, we talk about the top two players on an Arizona State team that was really, really bad all season, and especially down the stretch in conference play. Frankie is the guy. He's the face of Arizona State basketball moving forward. I'm comfortable with that. Adam Miller is realistically the only shooter that you have on this team. And even then, you look at his...
Bryson Long.
Stop it.
He can shoot.
Yeah, well, did he?
Yes.
He didn't play.
He got hurt.
Well, he didn't play.
He got hurt.
Yes.
There's a full story there.
Yeah, didn't play. But I think, again, Ace is a guy that you need to keep. We talked about it yesterday. I don't anticipate either one of those guys actually hitting the portal. If Frankie does leave, it'd more than likely be for the league. I know he entered his name in the NBA draft last year, pulled it just after getting some NBA evaluations. But I think at the end of the day, you keep those two. Everybody else is expendable. Now, obviously, you need to replace those guys on the roster with other transfer talent. But I think...
Let's wait till it happens.
Well, yeah.
Let's just
You're acting like we have two guys coming back, dude.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If that was the only thing, if that was the only thing, and Ace and Frankie were the only ones that came back, and it's not crazy to say because Arizona State only retained 3 players last year.
But it's not. But it's also you're off to a better start. So.
No, yeah, you are off to a better start. You're not getting guys immediately entering the portal right after. And again, I think last season specifically, it was a little bit more heartbreak as some of these guys left because there were more contributors to this team, right? It hurt when you had a Devin Cambridge because there were moments that obviously impacted the season. It hurt when Warren Washington left. It hurt when Duke Brennan, Austin Nunez left because they had their moments in non-conference play, or when a Des Cambridge obviously left because of eligibility reasons. This year, you point to guys on the team. Alonzo Gaffney leaves. He doesn't have any more eligibility. It is what it is. Jose Perez leaves tail end of the year. It is what it is. Jamiya Neal, Braelon Green, again, only...
Zane Meeks? He's graduating.
Yeah, he's graduating. But those two specifically are the only ones that right now on the roster you could be like, well, they won us games or they did X, Y, and Z. Everybody else is just kind of like you played a role and you didn't necessarily play the role the way that it needed to be played.
I mean, to rip the Band-Aid off, the team wasn't great this year, right? And so
that's putting it nicely.
It's different after last year losing all those players, and after this year, if they even did lose the same amount of players, right? And that's why it's 10 times more important you retain the top of the top, because Like, yes, were there moments from Frankie Collins where he wasn't perfect? And were there moments from Frankie Collins where maybe he wasn't playing like the best player on a college basketball team needs to play? Yeah, absolutely. But that happens. That happens, especially when you're not in a great situation. Same thing with Adam Miller. Like, as a shooter, as a guy who's out there supposed to be your offensive weapon, your offensive engine, there were some games where he just wasn't it, right? But everybody else also had a lot more of those moments. And if everybody else leaves and those two stay and you build a better team around them, I'm more confident in them being consistent.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation because you don't want to be the program that has its entire roster leave after every season. But right now versus where it was a year ago are just two completely different situations.
Yeah. Short Bus, we appreciate you. You guys can talk trains.
We should talk trains one day.
Trains?
Big train guy.
You strike me as a big train guy.
I've always wanted to do like the intercontinental, not intercontinental. Yeah, no,
it's intercontinental.
Cross country trains, not intercontinental.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to do one?
Yeah, I wanted to do
in like one of those VIP cabins.
Yeah, the ones that go from like Chicago to the West Coast.
That'd be dope.
Would be crazy because you like got your own sleeping quarters and everything.
Yeah,
like,
we should do a live podcast on a train.
SBZ, don't say that if you're not serious because I'll
get on a train.
I'll do my own show about trains.
I mean, you do what you got to do, man. So heading into the offseason, last topic or last question on this topic, Shane, do you trust Bobby to build this roster around the guys that he's already got?
Yeah, I mean, you have a blueprint already. You have 3 4-stars depending on who you ask. 2 of them borderline 5s. Like, you have a blueprint 100% because those are his guys. Those are the guys he's got. I'd be lying if I said no. 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Erik?
I have no choice. I gotta trust him. I gotta trust him.
It's not life or death. You don't have to trust him.
Okay, listen.
Why do you have no choice?
Well, because it's not going to be up to anybody else, and I want this to succeed.
It's up to you. Do you trust or do you not?
I don't trust right now, but my trust can be earned. I'm not completely out, but as of right now, I'm not feeling too hot and too confident. But maybe that's just the bitter taste of this past year in my mouth as we approach this offseason. But as of right now, I'm not fully trusting now.
Look, trust is a tough thing to build, right? And I think it takes a significant amount of time to earn it. I would say maybe around 84 years. Just as long as Desert Financial has been doing it, guys. They are the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University, and you can trust them. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Like you said, been doing it for more than 84 years. Erik, you don't use anybody but Desert Financial.
Nobody. I do trust them. If you ask me, do I trust? They wouldn't even hesitate. I would say absolutely 100%.
Easy. Guys, look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. They have it all, and they're going to help you out. If you are an Arizona sports fan, which I imagine a lot of you are, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams. Bring the boom and get fired up with the Arizona State University Visa debit card. And now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
LTC, what is good?
What's up,
I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen LTC.
Welcome back. Chat. Good to see you. Need you in here more.
We do.
And you also need to be tuning into first 4 games. Maybe not the 16 seeds. I have friends that like ask me like, what are you doing for the 16 seed? Nothing. Like, I'm not betting on that.
Do you want to talk about what Owen did in this office yesterday?
No, I don't. No? Because somebody should have stopped him.
Yeah.
Like it's our job as friends and coworkers to hold people accountable for their actions. Owen had soccer on 3 TVs during the first 4 games, and it's just somebody needed to say something. I'm sure if somebody would have said something,
it wasn't just soccer. It was a game he had to manually go to your TV Safari to go to YouTube to search up a game.
That's crazy
because it's not broadcast on any platform.
That's the sicko level that I love.
No, yeah, it's true sicko. It was it wasn't high school teams. It was a professional.
It was
team
open cup,
but it was an open cup. But if you looked at where they were playing, it was basically just a dusty field with no fans.
Yep. It's at sicko levels that I respect though.
Yeah,
and the sicko,
you can admire that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be a sicko today because I'm betting on Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne plus 1.5 against Green Bay. Wow. I don't even know if they're in the NIT, and I don't think they are. whatever the lower one is.
That's gross.
And I'm doing that over at BetMGM. There's just so many things to bet on right now. Obviously, there's your lower level tournaments like the NIT, but obviously March Madness, the true madness, kicks off tomorrow. I think at like pumped. 9 a.m. It's
so pumped.
It's the best. Thursday and Friday are the 2 best days of the year in sports, in my opinion. There's nothing that compares to it. NFL playoffs are amazing, but like there's constant action going on. I still remember in this office when the was it who lost on the 14-3 seed when they threw the ball away last year? Fuck, who was that? Oh, it was the Paladins. The Paladins of who are the Paladins? Somebody in the chat will know. But you can bet on that. You can bet on crazy upsets over at BetMGM. Guys, it's super easy to sign up, and you get some free cash when you do. Sign up for BetMGM. Use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $10, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if they lose. Wow. Check out show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane. That's me. Talk about the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there was the Furman Paladins, and they upset.
I'm looking at. I can't find it right now. I'm sorry. Wow. Virginia.
Virginia. I thought it was Virginia, but
Virginia.
Shocking. A team that scored 42 points yesterday.
Yeah, Virginia.
Dumb.
They didn't look like they knew what sport they were
Virginia
playing.
always looks like that. Sometimes their offense is working at least a little bit better. It's like when Iowa, because like obviously that shirt went viral the guy was wearing. Virginia is just Iowa football. It's like when Iowa scores 0 points, but they hold their team to 13. But everyone's like, that Iowa offense is terrible. Yeah, the Virginia offense is always terrible, but sometimes they can at least score a little bit, and they gave up way too many points. Way more than they usually do last night. I respect Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett has been Pac-12 legend. Tony Bennett, Washington State Cougar. Tony Bennett. He's always believed in that defensive philosophy. Sometimes it looks really bad. Sometimes it looks really bad. It's very comparable to Bobby, where the offensive philosophy is pretty bad, but when it's working, it's working. When it doesn't work, though, it looks terrible.
Yeah,
it's unwatchable.
Do you think Arizona State, to Alex's question in the chat, do you think Arizona State at full strength beats Virginia
last night? If they're shooting like they did,
no Jose Perez.
The game might be 35-30, but they might win.
That would be such a gross game,
dude. I've seen worse.
Yeah, you have.
What would the over under be set at?
84. Jeez. Those two teams. Not great.
They go weeks, as Quint says, without breaking 60.
That one was 120 last night, right? I think Damon mentioned the over under on that game was 120.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And they hit the under. I mean, it was 109.
Look, March Madness obviously in full swing, and for those of you that don't know, Arizona State declined an NIT invitation. I'm curious. This is a team obviously heading to a major conference in the Big 12. Arizona State was one of, I believe, 17 teams to decline NIT invitations. If every team that was invited accepted, it would have looked a lot like the Pac-12 tournament because there were a lot of Pac-12 teams that were invited and declined invitations. Do you guys, are you okay with that? Are you okay with Arizona State declining
the NIT
invitation?
Is so meaningless. I mean, it's always been pretty, but now especially it's Villanova's playing in it. That's fun. They're just
it's a stupid tournament.
What are you gaining? That thing is, what are you gaining from
the players individually now on the portal? 100% gain things. You can showcase your talent for a couple more games. You can, and if you're a senior, you get to play more games. Though meaningless, you do get to play more games. The actual tournament itself is strange. I don't really know how you fix it. The only way I can think of is a monetary incentive, which is always the option now. But it does seem pointless. In no other sport do you miss out on the playoffs or the final whatever it is, and you still get to keep playing for something that means less. It's a bizarre concept. It's always been a bizarre concept. So no, it's never irked me when a team declines.
Well, especially with the way that ASU ended the season as well. If it was maybe some close losses and they were playing fine, it was more heartbreaking, and you're like, okay, well, let's keep this going. We want to play with this group of guys and give them one more shot. But once that Utah game ended, the way that Bobby was talking in the post-game presser, the way the whole team was the season was over. There was no continuing from that point on. I don't think that they would have gained anything, because I think it would have just been ugly, and they would have lost again pretty badly, and then morale would have been even lower. I feel like you gain more from not playing in that tournament this year.
I think any year. I mean, it's like you said, Shane, it's a pointless. In no other sport do you get that luxury of continuing to play games after your team has already proven that they're not good enough to make the postseason. It's the toilet bowl in fantasy football. That's exactly what the NIT is.
But at the same time, like, if you're looking to build for the future and you know your core is coming back, like,
but how many teams do you think can guarantee that their core is going to come back? I think it almost hurts. I think the NIT almost hurts these coaches.
How?
Because you talk about these players getting to go out and showcase what they're capable of at the NIT level. That is more incentive if these guys go off in the NIT.
I see what you're saying.
To hit the portal.
I see what you're saying for sure, but I also think the positive outweighs the negative, because one, you are physically keeping them away from entering the portal for more days, and you have more time with them. Like, if you're looking to build toward the future, it certainly helps. And to your question you asked originally, nobody can guarantee that their core is coming back. No one, literally nobody. Like, it's not something you can do. There's no letter of intent that I'm coming back next year, which could happen at some point. The way we're trending, like, it is strange.
It's a weird world we live in, where college basketball and college football and really all sports and college athletics, they are dealing with a free agency period. That's called the transfer portal. But it might not be as weird as what I read this morning on the State Press, the Arizona State student publication. So I'm just going to read you guys the headline and your initial one-word reaction. We'll get into the actual story in and of itself. Yeah, it's not much of a story. It's not much of a story, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
But the headline in and of itself is worth just discussing. And it says, Ray Anderson is representing ASU at NCAA Final Four despite resignation. Immediate thoughts to hearing Ray Anderson's name and representing ASU in the same sentence? Anybody?
Honestly, I'm not even that surprised.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's also like, who else is gonna do it? I mean, this is something that has been planned for so long. It's like, he's not no longer with the school. He still works with the school.
It's just, again, it's not much of a story in and of itself, because he's a board member of the Phoenix local organizing committee. And I guess that time overlapped with his time, obviously, as the Arizona State athletic director. So it makes sense. But again, I just think there's a lot of Arizona State fans that are they're just tired.
I mean, you don't want the guy that you just had to have resign as athletic director to go and represent your athletic program, especially when it comes to like big things like the Final Four and college basketball and whatnot. Like, that is in itself, it's a weird look. And it's very uniquely ASU, it feels like. That it's like, okay, we're still looking for an athletic director. Now, the former athletic director, which you're paying almost $1 million a year to be a professor of practice because we didn't fire him, he technically resigned, is now out representing the university at an athletics event.
Yeah.
It's just, it's such a weird situation. But at the end of the day, doesn't really matter.
Well, look,
that much.
This is what I'll say. In all honesty, it's not a story, right? Ray Anderson representing ASU at the specific, like at the Final Four, is not a story because, again, of the crossover. For me, what makes this a little bit of a story is the fact that this entire thing could be avoided if Arizona State and Michael Crow would just move their ass in the direction of hiring an athletic director. That way, that individual could represent Arizona State athletics at the Final Four. But instead, we're sitting here 120 plus days with an open athletic director position that wouldn't be surprised if Washington, who just lost their athletic director, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington had an AD before Arizona State. Like, that is, I think, at this point, the most frustrating part is, yes, Ray Anderson in this role, it is what it is. It's something that's been planned for a while, whatever, it makes sense. But on the other side of the coin, it doesn't really, because Arizona State, Michael Crow, should have an athletic director. The fans should know who's leading the athletic department. They shouldn't be sitting at home getting laughed at by everybody else in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 because their president just doesn't give a rat's ass about the state of the athletic program.
And Ray Anderson, he's not like the main guy out there. He's in a minor role, in a minor capacity. I think the only thing that really makes this thing is, like you said, is the fact that he has not been replaced yet. Because even if he had been replaced, I don't know if he would replace Anderson's spot on the PLOC like immediately or for this specific event, because this is something that has been in the works. And again, like Anderson's not the main guy going out there and being like, this is my thing, I'm here, this is Ray Anderson time. You know, he's just there. But when you have your former athletic director continue to represent your school and you don't even have somebody to point to that would fill his former job, it just continues to highlight the fact that you don't have somebody who filled his former job.
Yeah. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Shane was on a bus. Okay. Shane was on a bus when Arizona State last had an athletic director. You were living on a bus.
I wasn't just on a bus. I've been on and off a lot of buses.
Are you a big bus guy?
No, I'm not a big bus guy.
But a big train guy.
Big train guy. Train is way superior. But bus and RV is very different. Very different.
What were you on?
Well, I was on an RV.
So not a bus.
No. An RV is a recreational vehicle. You can sleep on it.
You can sleep on a bus.
You can, but you shouldn't. Don't sleep on a bus.
You can really sleep anywhere, technically.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I guess that's totally fair.
Lotan Capone said it perfectly earlier. Can you scroll up? I want to read exactly what he said. He said, quite frankly, it's stupid.
Thumbs down emoji.
Sure. There it is. Like that's my whole thought on this. They're delaying it. Obviously, you want to quote get things right, and you want to make sure you're thorough in the search. But good Lord, it's been so long. And I also think, as weird as it may sound, I think they were probably waiting for the basketball season to be over because Hurley has voiced his concerns and they need to get it right. Like he said in press conferences. So I think that him and Dilly might have some sort of say in this, and I hope they do, because you need to make sure that this next hire is not your boy, is not your friend, is not a favor, and you get it right.
I mean, that is true. I don't know if they're taking a longer time because they're making sure they're extra diligent about it. I think the fact that we don't even have that much of like an update, and I hope they're not waiting for basketball season to end to start their search and to start looking into this stuff. But I think it is important that if you're going to have Bobby Hurley still stick around going to the Big 12, and then Kenny, who has kind of reignited this football program out of a very, very low place, you want their opinion on it for sure. But if you mess this up, if you don't get somebody who's going to come in here and at least do like an above average job, not just come in and be great, because that's a high bar, but to come in and to buy into the sports, understand the new era of college athletics, the NIL. Like if you bring somebody in who doesn't know what they're doing and you waited this long to do it, that's an even worse look, right? Yeah. Like they had to nail it in the first place. Now you definitely have to nail it even more so because of the lead up and the build up to even get to a hire.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. And I think in terms of the way that Arizona State is approaching the Big 12, for me, like it's something that I've talked about before. There is going to be a rude awakening for the athletic department, for teams across ASU athletics, for fans across ASU athletics, to understand it is one thing to talk about what a successful program is. It is another thing to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
Year over year, week over week, month over month, just to understand what it means to be successful in college basketball, what it means to be successful in college football. Now, you can have the moments, right? Arizona State basketball in that 2017-2018 season, they had their moments, specifically in non-conference play, and then what happened, right? They faltered.
Yeah.
Better teams, better players, better coaches, whatever. Football, you look at the success that this football program has had over years. What, they were a preseason top 15 team under Todd Graham at one point, and then that season went absolutely horribly. Like Arizona State fans specifically, unless the athletic department gets their shit together, it is going to be a tough 2-3 year period in the Big 12, and potentially longer than that, depending on if those bad 2-3 years actually end up forcing Crow's hand to do something in favor of the athletic department.
Great college athletic programs don't just have one great season.
Yeah.
They have consistency, and maybe they're not always great, but they don't have like the super high, then the super low, then the super high, then the super low. Like there's more of an evening out there.
Yeah.
And if if we want to point to very specific moments and times of the last decade almost and say, you know what? Yeah, they hit that. That's not always truly representative of what the program can be on a consistent level overall. And like the floor needs to be raised, and maybe the ceiling is going to get a little bit lower as well. But I think if the floor is raised, people will be a lot happier with the situation.
I agree. I think they'd also probably be happier with some OGs.
Oh, dude. You know what? I feel like whoever is doing the search for Ray Anderson probably got lost in a bag of OGs and they've just forgot what time is.
That's valid.
But you know what? I don't blame them.
No.
If they come out and ASU says, you know what? The reason why we haven't hired anybody yet is because we've just been enjoying the delicious scratch-made gummies from OGs that are made right here in State 48. And we just got distracted. I'd say, you know what? I forgive you.
Oh, yeah. I actually just finished my last bag of OGs last night.
Well, tell you what, there is gummy madness going on right now. That's right. There's an OG's bracket.
That's
now,
crazy.
Listen, at different locations across the valley, just to name a few, if you're out east, the Mint, Zen Leaf, Sticky Saguaro, in the west, Jars, Ponderosa, Valley of the Sun, the Giving Tree, AZ Organics, all of these places are doing a bracket with OG's gummies where you go in, you put your vote in where they pit 2 gummies against each other, 2 different flavors, 2 different effects. And as you put your vote in, you get a buy one, get one offer if you pick the winner.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sign me
you
up.
go in, you put your vote in, you buy a bag of OGs, the winner gets announced. If you pick the winner, boom, you get a buy one, get one offer. And when it comes to OGs, like that's a pretty big deal because sometimes they're hard to find because they sell out so fast. So you buy one, you get a free one with that. And not only do you maybe get some free OGs, and not only are they made here in State 48, but they've got a couple new products as well, made with live rosin and RSO. That's the OGs Naturals and the Big OGs. The Big OGs is in the name. It's just a bigger OGs for those of you who like to partake. And the vegan OGs is the OGs Naturals. Listen, guys, I've been eating OGs since before I got here. In fact, one of the coolest things I thought was when I was in here, I was like, damn, they're sponsored by OGs. I love those guys. Like,
OGs is great.
I really do love OGs. And you can learn more about them by going to ogsbrands.com. And remember, to vote in the Gummy Madness, to enjoy OGs, to buy it, all of that, you must be 21 and over.
And you also got to be 21 to play the lottery.
Ooh.
You do.
I love the lottery.
I love the lottery.
Love the lottery. I just love
games,
luck, games,
games, and
hijinks.
You love.
Ooh, got your nose.
Wow.
Got him.
Give it back.
I don't know what that has to do with. Oh, because I love hijinks.
Hijinks. That was some hijinks.
Yeah, that was some hijinks.
Give it back.
No. There you go.
Just throw it at me.
No, it
Blue.
Yeah, your nose is very.
It's gone.
Yeah, and Arizona Lottery is not hijinks, but it is a game and it is very fun. They got a lot of new things going on too. You can get out and, as Eric loves to say, touch some grass.
Do it
with their new ticket and promotion called Arizona Adventure. There are 3 ways to play and win big. Play Arizona Adventure Lottery tickets featuring 3 iconic landscapes with Picacho Peak, Monument Valley, and Camelback Mountain. All of these tickets have prizes up to $50,000, and you can check in at their geolocated adventures at their 10 destinations across the state, from Flagstaff to Yuma. Visit www.azadventure.com for details and directions. Check in at the destinations coordinates on the website, or you can enter tickets online for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. The Arizona Lottery has a ton of stuff for you. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes.
Well, look, something that we already talked about, right? In terms of college basketball, March Madness, obviously, the only thing everybody wants to talk about. And you've got a big first 4 game. It feels weird that Arizona State isn't participating in a first 4 this season. That's, tradition. I'm pretty sure Bobby is missing out on his vacation home in Dayton. But regardless, Colorado, Boise State tonight. Who do the boys like?
Who do I like and who am I rooting for?
Who do you think gets it done?
You know what? I'm going to roll with Colorado.
Okay.
I like Colorado, and I'm pulling for them.
That's
and I think they're
blasphemous
going
to say
win.
that you like them, though.
Okay.
It's
Football
blasphemous.
and basketball, I separate.
Beats by Bands is in here.
I know
separate-
Beats by Band S.
I separate football and basketball. Very different worlds for me as far as how I view Colorado.
Still don't share the same hate for Colorado athletics at all. I don't know. I don't.
I don't know if you've been in here when the Colorado chat has come in, when we've said something very mild.
The waves.
Respectfully.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Come on, buddy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like it. But I've never shared the same.
No, you
sentiment.
haven't. You haven't.
I don't know why. It just it doesn't really irk me that much. they do a lot of hijinks over there. This is hijinks. This is silly. The Shedeur is hilarious to me. Dion is a master at manipulating and making people angry.
Yeah.
And being himself as well.
He hits it.
Yeah. I love how we're already talking about. See, it's working. I like Colorado in this game. I like I've always liked their basketball program. Tad Boyle is kind of a little silly goose, but
what makes Tad Boyle a silly goose?
It's just he does silly things.
Just silly goose energy.
Yeah. And they've retained a lot of their talent, which is something that makes a team fun.
Yeah.
KJ Simpson's been there since he was a freshman.
He's a dog.
Yep. Averaging
absolute dog.
Over 19 points a game and almost 5 assists a game, which is stupid. I picked Colorado on the bet show this morning. I think Colorado rolls. I'm not buying the Mountain West type. I know everybody loves them, and I know everyone says they got disrespected by getting put in the first 4 games, and maybe so because Colorado State absolutely blew out Virginia last night, but I like Colorado in this game. I think Colorado has a chance to get hot and make a run.
I'll be honest. I thought Colorado was a little bit disrespected. Talking about a team that won, 8 games? They won 8 of their last 9 or something crazy like that in Pac-12 play. Wins over Utah. Oregon, obviously Oregon won the Pac-12 tournament. Oregon was their only loss since February 17th.
Because they have a freaking Colorado kryptonite on their team. And Folly Dante just turns into the best player ever.
Yeah, he does. He drops, 30 some odd points?
Yeah, but he's made like 30 something shots in a row.
Against Colorado?
Against Colorado,
wow.
Dating back to last season.
Well, you don't want to see them at any point.
No.
But no, I think Colorado for me, again, I think Colorado cruises in this game. I know
Colorado minus 3, Snello.
I know it's a 2.5 3-point line.
3.
I do think Colorado. What?
I just said Colorado minus 3, and you said I think it's like
I was talking, so I didn't hear you. I literally can't hear when I'm talking. But between KJ Simpson and Tristan Da Silva, who has been playing basketball forever,
and well-renowned German Tristan Da Silva. Born in Munich.
And Eddie Lampkin.
Eddie Lampkin?
That's not a real name. I know he's a real basketball player, but that's not a real name.
His body fits Lampkin.
Lampkin, yeah, but not Eddie.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Yes, he looks like an Eddie.
No.
For sure looks like... He doesn't look like an Eddie with a Y, but he looks like an Eddie with an IE, which is how you spell his name.
Do those guys look different?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, do Eric's with a C and Eric's look at the K look different?
I
mean, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
they 100%
absolutely
do.
they do.
You look like an Eric with a C, but you spell your name with a K. It's weird.
What does Eric with a K look like?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is I didn't know that there was a difference.
Eddie with an Y reminds me of Ed and Eddie, because that's how you spell Eddie.
I hated that show.
What?
I hated that show.
There's also Jacob with a C and Jacob with a K. I don't look like a Jacob with a K.
No, you don't.
Jacobs with a K are like foreign.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very big distinction, though. But EI and Y, you're not like, ooh, you're foreign, you're not foreign. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to see like a. Can you guys bring some pictures, print them out, and put like this?
I think he's more on this train than I am. I just said I didn't think Eddie Lampkin looked like an Eddie, but that's just me.
JJ.
But we're all on the same page. We all believe.
I just opened my water bottle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be crazy. We all are on the same page. We all believe that Colorado gets it done tonight. I think this is something we should just continue to do as the tournament kind of goes on. Pick one game, and just who we got. But it is what it is at this point.
PHNX Daily Bets every Monday through Friday at 11:45.
Or you could do that. You could also how about you do both?
We're gonna have a long show tomorrow.
This is like your Christmas.
And long, yeah, it's the best time of year. I said it on bets this morning. Tomorrow and Friday are the best time of year for sports.
It's great. It's great. You get to sit back, watch all of the games going on tomorrow for March Madness. It's bound to be fun. But if you need some snacks or some drinks for your March Madness watch parties, definitely head over to Circle K.
That's something else that I love. Games, hijinks, and like little treats.
Love little treats.
Top 3 things. I think those are the things. Like if somebody said, what are your 3 most valuable things in your life? Leah doesn't count.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah. It goes games, hijink. No, yeah, games is number 1. Game, like
he's a big game guy,
dude. Biggest game guy. You tell me to like start naming things. That's a game to me. I'm gonna name things. Tell me like if I Spy, dude. I love I Spy. The best games. Number 1. Little treats. Very close second, and then hijinks to number 3.
Well, technically, Circle K has games and they have little treats.
Yeah, they probably have hijinks too with their little they have little toys sometimes. So
yeah, they got it all over at Circle K, and they're going to help you save money every single day with their membership program, Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Then every day after that, you guys can save 3 cents per gallon. Not to mention, you're going to get every 6th free on a selection of Circle K's little treats. We're talking pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, and more. Just join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Real quick, did you guys see the Tommy Lloyd rumor that he had dinner with Mark Few and Long Beach State's head coach last night?
I didn't see that.
I don't know if this is
crazy.
Somebody from AZ
I'm pretty sure Long Beach State's coach ended his thing today saying, will you see on
Jacob,
Friday? Yeah.
Come on, you're ruining the story.
Stole your thunder.
I don't know how true this is.
Okay.
But it was reported by somebody that works for AZ Daily Storm, and they tweeted that they had dinner and the Long Beach State head coach was late. And the reason why he was late because he said he was installing the Princeton offense. Which is hilarious. And I'm sure if that is true, that Tommy Lloyd found it funny because it's all in jest. I don't think they're actually be running the Princeton tomorrow.
You don't think so?
Maybe they might bust it out.
It'd be so funny. I don't even think Princeton.
No, they run and gun.
Princeton didn't even run. Princeton doesn't even run the Princeton anymore.
No, I think Arizona State's the only team that does that.
The Princeton of
Come
Arizona.
On, let's go. Dribble handoff. Oh, backdoor cut. No. Wasn't there that time. Let's do it again.
I hope everybody knows that when we were at the Pac-12 tournament a couple years ago, Shane actually does this, like right behind Bobby in the bench. It's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing in the world. Yeah,
so
he does.
He gets up
like,
who's Bobby?
Bobby goes like this, and Shane gets up, turns around, all the fans does this exact same thing. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Loves to lie also. Come on, man.
Oh, dude.
Come on, man. He just straight up lying.
It's a joke. No way anybody thinks that's true. That'd be crazy. You wouldn't get a credential.
Yeah. See? Saul was like, really?
I totally believe that he would do something like that.
See?
That's fair.
To be honest, I kind of believed you too.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll just need to be better. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
Thanks,
you
man.
do need to be better.
I appreciate that.
No, I don't. I think
you got great temperature hands, you know?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like he's new here.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
No,
that's
they are
a normal thing?
Yes.
They are. Yeah.
You've said that before.
Not that.
No.
But
Not that
something
specifically.
similar.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. We've definitely
talked about how the moisturization of hands. Like we've talked about how he's got rough
calluses.
Yeah, calluses because he's always just lifting and
Sean
going
had
hard.
sweaty hands.
Sean did have sweaty hands.
Well, can I get my hands tested?
Clammy hands. Yours are a little moist. They're not. Okay. They're not like wet though. They're not wet. So I've met people who have wet hands, like just because that's the way their hands are, and those people I can't be friends with.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's just I do not do that. If your hands are wet for no good reason, get the hell out of my life.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Well, sweaty hands. So Sean, you don't like Sean? Sean.
Do you see Sean on the show anymore?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sean did have some soggy hands.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing to come to PHNX, Totri just walked up and said, "Let me see your hands."
I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, like a routine baseball check.
He's all right.
They're fine.
Yeah, not bad.
They're dry.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So Snello in the chat says, I take everything you guys say at face value. Well, you need to listen to what I'm about to say because time is running out. And that's not a joke. Time is running out because right before...
Are the meteors coming?
Well, no, not that time.
No, we're dying by solar flare. It's not a meteor.
Okay, just making sure.
Speaking of, isn't there a solar eclipse coming soon?
Let me check.
I think there is.
Well, while you're checking, there is something coming soon. That is March Madness. And you can join PHNX and Illegal Pete's in their bracket challenge for FREE. Is there a solar eclipse?
Yeah, Monday, April 8th.
Wow. Day after my
That's
birthday.
Leah's birthday.
Right around the corner. Wow.
There's so many April birthdays.
And that's also the national championship. Oh,
wow.
no.
The realization.
No. I knew that her birthday was on national championship. I'm talking about there's going to be a solar eclipse during the national championship. Something crazy might happen. I don't know what it is, but some players might start levitating. Whoa.
Just anti-gravity basketball.
Yeah, anti-grav. Would they cancel the game? Probably.
Well, how do you stop that?
No gravity?
It was like everybody floating, and then they're like over the intercom. They're like, we're going to have to cancel
Here's
this.
the real question. If we'll get back to the reading.
I'm sorry.
I'll get through this eventually. Please, go ahead.
If anti-gravity started like mid-bucket and it affected the course of a bucket, does the bucket count?
Ooh, yes.
Like a game winner?
Wow.
It's a game winner. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Like what if somebody takes off from the free throw line to dunk on somebody and they go over the backboard and you're like, is he out of bounds?
Yeah,
but he's never touched the ground yet.
He's still out of bounds.
What if he just keeps going?
I think there are bigger questions to ask if he doesn't stop.
You're not out of bounds until you touch the ground. I feel like the game will never end.
He grabs the ball, just starts like floating his way.
But what if somebody takes a shot and as it's going up, somebody jumps up, hits it midair before it's on the way down?
What about the shot clock?
What about the shot
probably, yeah. I mean, the shot clock
would run out.
ends the possession.
You're
I mean,
right.
so the clock would stop.
Yeah, so it's just a shot clock violation. That's
They
why we
just
have
get another ball. Yeah,
This is why we have Jacob around.
Hard hitting stuff. Hard hitting.
Anti-gravity basketball, hot or not? Well, not hot because you would never come down unless you have like.
But if it was in
boosters.
like a dome, like a smaller dome, maybe then that would be.
Well,
You can join the illegal Pete's and PHNX bracket. I'm sorry, guys.
that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Cool.
It is
I'm
what
sorry.
it is.
I'm just kidding. We are done.
Yeah.
Prize for top 3 finishes includes a Die Hard membership, shirts, and a gift card to the PHNX locker, plus Illegal Pete's gift card, so you can get your Illegal Pete's fix in, you can get your Die Hard fix in, and it's all for free. Check out our socials for the link to sign up, guys. Plus, if you want to just go to Illegal Pete's to enjoy some March Madness, because it is the most beautiful time of the year, you can get some patio beers out there, maybe watch some 16th seeds upset a 1 seed, maybe,
No.
fingers crossed, probably not, but maybe, but hopefully, but probably not. They also got bowls, taco salad, burritos, nachos, custom cocktails, beers like I mentioned, piping hot queso, and right now, Illegal Pete's is here to bring you a win with their legendary sound check deal, bringing your ticket stuff from any ticketed event and get a draft beer or house margarita for a penny. Illegal Pete's wants to celebrate with you, whether it's a pregame or postgame party. You must purchase an adult entree, but then you get the drink for a penny, so you're still basically getting the drink for free, and you get some delicious food.
Yeah.
Along with it, it's Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, beer, and gravity-free basketball.
Yeah. Well, not yet. We don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, neither confirmed nor denied.
You don't have to believe Totri because obviously, as we just saw, he lies sometimes.
Yeah, I do it sometimes.
But you do have to believe Donald.
Yeah,
because being a diehard is pretty cool.
Amen.
There's a lot of fun things.
It's super easy to get started.
Yep.
Just head over to gophnx.com, click that Die Hard tab. You're going to see everything that you unlock, from discounts on merch, events, Die Hard only content, Die Hard Discord, and so much more, all for one annual price. Go check it out. GoPHNX.com.
We treat a regular special here, so I'm gonna make an exception for JJ who missed the first part. Usually I just say rewind, go look at the start. I'm gonna give JJ a little love here. So JJ says, can you scroll up a little bit? JJ says, I'll have to go back to listen to the Neal Green discourse, but surprise Green went into the portal before Watson, seeing as how many bigs are in next year's class. Yeah, Akil Watson is a guy that we probably expect to enter the portal.
Yeah.
So seemingly those two are gone. Would imagine Watson, Celebunge, hope not. Yeah, probably. You as JJ said, you just have so many bigs, which is so rare. You got a 6'9" JUCO transfer, a 6'10" freshman, a 6'8" wing.
Sean Phillips.
Sean Phillips.
Maybe.
We're talking about big men though. I'm just kidding. I love you, Sean Phillips.
Brian Celebunge.
Well, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So assuming Celebunge. Yeah, there's a lot to happen in the next couple weeks and even further along down the road.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. We'll be talking about it right here on the PHNX Sun Devils show, including Arizona State football as well. Spring football is right around the corner. We've actually going to hear from Kenny Dillingham and some assistant coaches tomorrow. Probably won't have those clips for tomorrow's show, but definitely for Friday.
We definitely won't have those clips
definitely for Friday
because
it's after. It's after.
Yeah, it's after our show.
Time. Yeah. You never know.
But we will be talking to Kenny tomorrow.
We will, and some assistant coaches.
Anything
so we'll have
you guys
that
want me
for
to
Friday.
Hey,
And
Kenny, I like your hair.
There is.
How's Kent?
There is going to be a Saturday show.
Ooh.
Just so everybody knows, there will be a Saturday show and an audio
featuring more
only.
hijinks than normal.
Absolutely. And an audio only episode that is going to be going out and airing on Sunday. So definitely check out that, guys. But that is going to do it for today's show. On the way out, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a 5-star review. Head over to social media, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy right here at Erik Ruby. That is Eric with a K. You can
Even if I don't look like it.
DJ Jacob Franklin at Jacob_Franklin.
DJ Franklin, he has a kid.
And you can follow Big Pokey at Shane Deef.
Believing firmly that if we are all to go out in some apocalyptic event, that it will be a solar flare, as always.
Wow. All right, guys. Go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.